I'm tired of sending the 2 full minutes of opening credits, so let's ding HBO for the fact that this static intro bumper hasn't changed in 22 years. Seriously, I don't know if I'm watching Game of Thrones or Dream On.
Sinning Jeremy for rattling off a bunch of bullshit that isn't an actual sin is a great way to start this video.
If I can't sling a pumpkin more than 3,636 feet with today's torque tech, then I call shenanigans on these ships launching giant flaming projectiles this far into the city.
Actually, medieval ships often did carry catapults and other siege weapons, and the average medieval catapult could apparently fire a length of about 300 yards, which is well over 2 football fields for some modern context.
Also, these trebuchets are on boats. I want this to work, but these are not seaworthy weapons. The counterweights to fling these stones would wreak havoc on the ship.
Like I just explained, that is not true. Medieval boats, in real life, actually did use catapults. As for the whole counterweight argument, that's bullshit, because you have to remember that ships in the Middle Ages were carrying every single person's armor, weapons, supplies, and even horses sometimes, so they could definitely handle catapults.
Danny has just returned from a Dryad-inspired Renfest.
And I'm just gonna stop you right there with a big fat skip.
I will crucify the masters. I will set their fleets afire, kill every last one of their soldiers, and return their cities to the dirt.
And this is Game of Thrones' version of one of the good guys.
This sin shows a basic misunderstanding of this series. Game of Thrones does not have good guys and bad guys. There are certain characters who are one-dimensionally bad, such as Gregor Clegane or Ramsay Bolton, but none of the main cast is simply good. Daenerys has plenty of flaws even before the final 2 seasons fuck up her character.
Dracarys.
I'm sorry, Danny, but it's pronounced Avada Kedavra. You know a show is tapped out of wardrobe creativity when a man wears an accordion-pleated monstrosity such as this.
I mean, it's a fairly accurate costume comparatively to real clothes in the Middle Ages, so I don't get this sin.
And you're all fine-looking men. My dogs are desperate to meet you.
I mean, Game of Thrones has a lot of evil asshole villains, but Ramsay is the only one that I could literally see twirling his mustache during every line.
And why is that a sin? Look, I get that some people thought that they spent too much time on Ramsay's sadistic shenanigans, and that opinion is fine, totally valid, but him being evil as he is not a sin. He clearly has some kind of mental instability, so his character, as much as I hate to admit it, is actually kinda plausible.
They won't be able to hit us the way that Stannis hit you, in a double envelopment. A pincer move.
I once suggested a double envelopment and a pincer move on the very same night.
And skip.
Aye, what have I been doing all my life? Playing with broomsticks?
Based on your commitment to celibacy until recently, I would imagine that's exactly what you've been doing most of your life.
Jeremy says boner.
Maybe that was our mistake, believing in kings.
Jon Snow's not a king.
We hate kings, but we love Jon Snow because he can't be a king and simultaneously wish there was a way for Jon to be king.
This would have been a great moment to give a sin for the fact that Jon becomes king in the next episode. I mean, I get that you all love that scene, but it's fucking stupid and doesn't make any sense, as well as being a total copy and paste job from season 1, when the exact same thing, only better, happened with Robb.
The one thing I really want Game of Thrones to explain to me is who gets stuck carrying all this furniture on these long travels.
Oh boy. So now we're sending this shit? So to answer your question, they clearly have servants to carry this shit, but regardless, why do you care about that? Like, who is sitting here watching this show and thinking, I want them to explain how they carry their furniture around. That would make this episode much more interesting.
How have things been going for you since then?
Well, if you really want to know, I can tell you in great detail, because if there is one thing this show does well, it's keeping up to date on the life and times of Theon Greyjoy, despite the fact that we barely even cared for him in Season 1.
Suggesting that nobody ever really cared about Theon is definitely a sin, 'cause that's fucking stupid.
And I imagine your offer is free of any marriage demands.
I never demand, but I'm up for anything, really.
This flirting is all wonderful, and I'm sure it provided much-needed fanfic juice for millions, but it also just kind of comes out of nowhere.
I mean, not really. As shitty as this season has been, they did set up Yara's bisexuality a while ago, so it's nothing crazy here.
All this scene is missing is Black Widow cocking a gun.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the episode cliche.
Oh man, Ramsay made a barbecue for the visiting team. Maybe he's not as bad as I thought.
This would have actually been a good time to sin the lack of continuity in this battle, 'cause you see the torture crosses here, but then they disappear during the fighting. Instead, you made this dumb joke.
Let's play a game. Run to your brother.
Last time I played Run to Your Brother with a Ramsay, I ended up with a horseshoe up my ass and marshmallow cream in my hair.
And yet again, I'm gonna skip.
The next 20 minutes are absolutely genius filmmaking by the Game of Thrones team, and the fact that it's happening on a television screen is nothing short of miraculous.
Okay, I obviously agree that this battle looks phenomenal from a technical standpoint, because, I mean, come on, you can't deny that the cinematography is amazing. But that does not mean that it makes any sense. The beautiful imagery and choreography does not make up for the utter disappearance of logic in this show.
Huh, Jon must have developed the same selective hearing that the Masters had before Drogon snuck up on them. I know he's hyper-focused, but he didn't hear the goddamn army right behind him.
So, you just mentioned how Jon is hyper-focused, and that's exactly how he didn't hear them. Have you ever heard of adrenaline? There's a reason some people call it the world's craziest drug.
They don't have the men for siege. All we have to do is wait.
I get Ramsay as a psychopath and ignorant, but he's not blind. The Baelish battalion seems like more than enough for a siege.
Actually, that's not necessarily true. Winterfell is a strong-ass castle, and it's very easily defended, so the army from the Vale actually may not have been enough for a full siege if Ramsay's men had been organized and 1-1 hadn't gone berserker mode.
Oh, who's the good boy? Who's the hungry boy? Who's gonna eat a big face?